Hello everyone, this is Athar Mahmood and I welcome you on this last day of the Practice to Pass session for March 2022. Well, I hope all of you would be fine and would be getting ready, would be physically and mentally considering different options to activate your brain and physical points for getting ready for the time management and difficult course overhead. Well, yesterday we learned to tackle procedures. We discussed about memorization of the procedures. And we discussed yesterday that procedures are a tricky one. They are not as straightforward. Students might think that only conceptual understanding of procedures can get you away from getting stuck in procedures question. Now, that is not the right approach. We discussed yesterday. You need to have good concept and memorization of procedures as well. Then we also discussed how to implicate procedures in exam scenarios, how to apply the concept and the memorization power that you have attained your study time. How can you apply all these memorization of procedures in a question where you need to implicate, where you need to convert generic procedures into specific procedures. And also in yesterday class, we discussed how to write procedures where generic procedures are not that helpful. So we discussed that data is very important in that context. So if a question like that is attempted, then you must focus on the data and you must word by word and line by line perform procedures. Well, for today's agenda, we have lined up three important areas. First of all, OTQs that carry 30 marks, then the audit report, and a file named 64 most wanted questions, which carries some most important questions, most favorite questions of the examiners that carry 20 to 22 marks per session. Now, let's start from the audit report perspective. That is the last case study area from where question can be asked. So there is a file in handouts. Okay. So there are three types of audit reports. Until now, we have discussed how procedures are performed, and you would be aware of how ISA 580 and 540 and 450 and different ISAs are applied. Now, after performing different sets of procedures, now we have confirmed that there are some material misstatements and we have asked management to adjust them. Now, if management adjusts the misstatements, then everything is okay and we will issue unmodified report. But in case if they are not going to issue, they are not going to adjust that misstatement, then what we are going to do, we are going to communicate this thing to management and then this to charge with governance. And what we will do, we will affect its impact and we are going to change our audit report. So there are three types of audit reports: unmodified report, unmodified opinion with modified report, and modified opinion. Now, what is unmodified report? Under the head of unmodified report, the auditor gives the opinion that financial statement gives true and fair view. This means that either no material misstatement is found, or if a material misstatement is found, it has been adjusted by the management. So there is no issue. If there was an issue, that issue has been resolved between us, so we are fine. Now we will issue an unmodified report according to ISA 700 where we will not change opinion nor we are going to change the report. So this is the simplest report format. Now the next report that is important in context to audit report questions is unmodified opinion with modified report. Now what is this? What is this type of report where auditor is issuing unmodified opinion? So unmodified opinion means a report in which opinion is that financial statements give true and fair view. So this means that we have no objection, there is no material misstatement found, or if found, this has been properly adjusted according to the accounting standards. Then why are these some extra paragraphs? Due to these extra paragraphs, the report is modified, or we could say that these are the additional communications that are not part of normal audit report. So due to the including of any of these paragraph or two or all of the paragraph, this report will be converted into unmodified opinion with modified report. So these three paragraphs are not normal part of the contents of audit report according to ISA 700. So the first paragraph is emphasis of matter paragraph according to ISA 706, the material uncertainty paragraph according to ISA 570, and other matter paragraph according to ISA 706. Now, what are these paragraphs? First of all, you need to understand that there is no material misstatement. That is why auditor gave opinion like financial statement gives true and fair view. Now, first of all, we are going to study material uncertainty related to going concern. Now, this paragraph is used when there is a material uncertainty related to going concern. Now, the financial statement gives true and fair view. This is written in the opinion section. This means that if there was a material uncertainty, this material uncertainty has been disclosed, or this material uncertainty has been presented or disclosed according to IS1 by the management. So there is no material misstatement. If there is no material misstatement, then why this paragraph has been included in auditor's report? Now this is an important point to consider. Now we as an auditor, not only due to ISA 570, we are going to represent it, we are going to disclose it, but the main reason is that if after the issue of audit report, someone claims to the auditor that they didn't identify the specific material uncertainty presented there, so we may become professionally negligent. So to protect ourselves, to protect our reputation, we will also disclose this important fact in our audit report. Although this material uncertainty paragraph has been disclosed by the management, but we are also going to disclose it. So there is no material misstatement. This is an important point to understand. Also, the emphasis of matter paragraph. All these factors related to emphasis of matter paragraph, like if financial statements are prepared on breakup basis and financial statement is not ongoing concern, so it's a correct adjustment or it's a correct application. If there is an uncertainty regarding IS 37 and it is properly recorded and presented, then there is no material misstatement. Early adoption, no misstatement, restatement of correspondence figures according to IS8, once again same scenario, and any event according to IS10 that need to be adjusted or disclosed. All these elements are the types where management has properly recorded these things according to their relevant standards, but why we are giving the importance to them, as they are important for the investor. An investor do use some of the calculations and some of the ratios before investing in a specific organization. So we emphasize in our report that some of the figures may be important for you. These figures are already mentioned by the management. Everything is okay. There is nothing to worry. The research statement gives true and fair. Still, we need to emphasize on some matters like this disclosure, like any case that can be crucial for the organization's future. Early adoption of IFRS like IFRS 16. So ACID's figure will be changed a lot. as compared to not applying IFRS 16. Restatement of correspondence figure, once again, sometimes opening balance may be changed. So all these factors are the part or can be part of emphasis of matter paragraph if auditors think that they are important and they should be communicated to the persons charged with governance or to the shareholders. So as we are going to emphasize this matter and we are giving place to these points in our audit report, so we are protecting ourselves against any professional negligence case. So this is emphasis of matter paragraph, and the third paragraph is other matter paragraph. These are the things that they have no relationship with the accounting standard application. All these things are relevant to auditors, audit report, and audit process. So why there was someone else auditor last time, why we didn't resign due to local legislation, why two financial statements are whenever there are two financial statements prepared. So this audit report that you are reading relates to which financial statement. So it should be clarified in the financial statement. So other matter paragraph can be used. If you want to limit the use of audit report, that this is not the report for everyone, for general public. This is specifically designed for the needs of the lenders, then we are going to restrict its limit and explain auditor's responsibility in case if there is an issue and we want to explain our responsibility, then we can use other matter paragraphs. So these are the three paragraphs. Once again, I am repeating the fact that these paragraphs are used when there is no material mistake. When there is no material mistake. If there is a material misstatement, for that specific issue, we are not going to use any of these paragraphs. Then what we are going to do, we are going to go for modified opinion. So if there is a material misstatement, we will choose between either it will be a qualified opinion or adverse opinion or disclaimer opinion. So what are these? Before going into the question, we will discuss that how these opinions can be modified. Now, first of all, the qualified report. Now, in qualified report, our wording is except for provision, financial statements give true and fair view. Now, qualified means that the major portion of the financial statement is okay, but there is a material misstatement and it should be adjusted. So, for example, the word written is provision. It could be impairment, except for impairment, except for inventory valuation, financial statement gives true and fair view. In adverse case, we are going to say that financial statement does not give true and fair view. So all of the financial statement, whole financial statement is materially misstated in that case. And disclaimer means that we are not able to draw any conclusion on financial statements. So this is where sufficient and appropriate evidence has not been provided and we are not able to draw any conclusion. So these are the three opinions whenever a material misstatement is identified. Now how we will decide that which report should be used? For this purpose, we usually use this table. This table is very effective. It is also available in your resource packs like Kaplan book and Gilbert book. So you can see there are two options on x-axis and there are two options on y-axis. On x-axis we can see material but not pervasive and material and pervasive. So there are two types of misstatements. One, material misstatement, or other, material and pervasive misstatement. What is a pervasive misstatement? A pervasive misstatement means very material misstatement. A misstatement that is a very material is called pervasive. Now we are aware that there is a threshold according to ISA 320 that anything above 5% of the profit will be material. So what do you think that how or what could be the threshold for if we say an item or a misstatement that is very material? So yes, according to ISS 705 modified opinion, pervasive is defined is any misstatement that is not confined to a head, ledger or account balance. Means any transaction that may have impact on whole financial statement can be pervasive. So under this explanation or definition, there are two examples like missing the subsidiary in the consolidation financial statements, and also the important thing is that if we are preparing financial statements on going concern basis, then and in actual going concern does not exist. So this means that the whole figures of assets to liabilities and revenue to expenses will be misstated. So there are two misstatements that are considered as pervasive: skipping a subsidiary in consolidated financial statements, because subsidiary is added line by line in consolidated financial statements, and if we have missed a subsidiary, assets figure, current assets figure will be wrong, liabilities figure will be wrong, or revenue and expenses figure will be wrong. So we can say that every figure of financial statement is wrong. And other thing is, when we have prepared financial statement on going concern and there is no going concern. So we are aware that accounting standards are applied when there are going concern. And if there is no going concern, assets are recorded at NRV and liabilities are understated. So these are the two misstatements. And the third thing is that a single transaction or single misstatement may be considered as pervasive one if it converts profit into loss, or if it has substantial effect on the assets. So substantial effect means that if there is 50%, 70%, 65% reduction in assets, so that will be considered as a substantial change in the figure of assets. So if financial statements are materially misstated, qualified opinion is available in case of material misstatement. But if there is a pervasive misstatement, then if we have obtained sufficient appropriate evidence, we will go for adverse opinion. And if there is a misstatement which is pervasive in nature and sufficient appropriate evidence is not available against that head, then we are going to issue disclaimer of opinion head. So this is how we are going to work. So I am hopeful that you would be clear on that. Now, for example, yesterday we discussed a question, AMEDA. Now, if we go back to that question, and we can see that this question, Andromeda. Now there is a part C. Last day we discussed this question in context to audit procedures, where you discussed inventory procedures and R&D procedures, if you remember that. Now let's go to part C. As we have just discussed the audit report, so let's try a question and let's try to understand how what we have studied have impact on audit report. Now during the audit, the team discovers that one of the 5 development projects valued at 980,000 and included within intangible assets does not meet the criteria for capitalization. The finance director does not intend to change the accounting treatment adopted, as she considers this an immaterial amount. Discuss the issue and describe the impact on auditor's report, if any, if the issue remains unresolved. So this is important to understand that normally audit procedures question may have last part from audit report. So 4 marks, 5 marks portion could be attempted, could be examined by this area. Also, the chapter of audit report is very tricky and very important. It should be read twice, at least twice, because if examiner is going to ask OTs from that section, then they may sometimes become very complex. So to avoid such awkward position, you must go through thoroughly that chapter that has many important areas. Now, as far as this question is concerned, it carries 4 marks, and you are going to discuss that if one of that project has not been included, then what would be the impact on our audit report. Now this was the issue. Andromeda spent over 2 million annually on developing new product lines. So among that 2 million, 980,000 has been found as material misstatement. Now, if we go back to the data, we can see there is a profit before tax of 8.3 million. So this is very important information in context to the implication of this project on audit report. So the figure is 980,000. Now let's discuss the impact and how to forward this type of question. Now, first of all, what would be the format for audit report questions? First of all, we are going to discuss accounting issue, not in detail, but just to get started. We are going to start with that related accounting issue. Then we are going to calculate the materiality level, because we are going to find out whether this misstatement is material or not. Then we are going to discuss whether this is a pervasive or material misstatement. So when we are discussing accounting issue, we are also going to discuss how it is a misstatement. Materiality level, pervasive or material misstatement, whether we gathered sufficient and appropriate evidence, and in the last, opinion. So this is how we are going to proceed with that type of question. So if we go back to our question, what is the accounting issue? Now the accounting issue was that team discovered 1 out of 5 relevant projects amounting 980,000, which is included in intangible asset, does not meet the criteria of capitalization. So you know that if it does not meet the criteria, then how this project should be charged? Now this project should not be capitalized, rather it should be expensed. Now this is our basic argument according to IS 38. Now we are going to discuss first of all that there is a criteria, and if certain projects meet these criteria, then we are going to capitalize it. So as in the data, it is clear that this project has not met the criteria, so it should not have been capitalized. Now this is a misstatement. Now we have proved that this is a misstatement, and the argument that we used is IS 38. Now the next level is we are going to discuss whether this misstatement is material or not. Now if we go back to data, this is 0.98 million or $980,000, and the profit provided is 8.3 million. Now we are going to calculate it. 0.98 divided by 8.3 multiplied by 100. So we are going to calculate it and we get the answer of 11.8%. So this 11.8% means that this misstatement is material because it is greater than the threshold of 5%. So 5% of profit is material normally. So this is above 5% because it is 11.8%. So it is a material misstatement. Now after giving this justification to examiner, now you are going to discuss whether this is a pervasive or material misstatement. So we can see that this is not going to convert into a substantial effect, or it is not going to have a substantial effect on the profit and loss. So profit is not converting into loss, it's only 11.8%. So we cannot say that this is a pervasive mistake. Then regarding sufficient appropriate evidence. So if we are aware that there are certain evidences, like we need to take project plans we discussed yesterday, we need to take correspondence, also we need to understand or read minutes of the meetings. So if any of these documents are not provided by the management, then we would claim that we are not provided with sufficient and appropriate evidence. But in the question we can see nothing has mentioned like that. The only logic that they have is that finance director does not intend to change the accounting treatment adopted, as she considers this as an immaterial amount. So according to them, this is immaterial. So there is no issue of sufficient appropriate evidence. So we have sufficient appropriate evidence regarding this 11.8% of the profit misstatement, and it is a material misstatement. So what should be our opinion? As this is a material misstatement, you can see here, this is a material misstatement and we have obtained sufficient appropriate evidence, so we would qualify our opinion. So we would say that qualified opinion will be issued using a basis for qualified opinion paragraph. So in that paragraph, basis for qualified opinion paragraph, we will explain why we have qualified this audit report. So this is the format we are going to follow. So these are the headings, or we can say these are the paragraphs. So you can write all this answer in 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs. They will be enough to get 4 marks or 5 marks. So this is how you are going to understand. So the issue of audit report is easy. You just need to understand whether there is a misstatement or not. If there is no material misstatement, the important thing is the deciding factor for you is whether there is a material misstatement or not. If there is a material misstatement, what you are going to do? You are going to choose between qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and modify on the basis of materiality or pervasiveness. If there is no material misstatement, Then you are going to choose between emphasis of matter paragraph, material uncertainty paragraph, and any other or other matter paragraph. So this is how it is going to work. Now let's see if you have understood these things or not. So for example, if I ask you some questions regarding this, and you can answer me in the chat box. So let's start with first question. Now this is question number 1. Now, for example, company has not given disclosure of material uncertainty, whereas there is a material uncertainty. Now, this is the question from you guys, and you are going to tell what is the audit report, what is the effect of this information on audit opinion. So, can you guys give the answer for that question? Okay, Ryan, you have given opinion. It doesn't seem to be correct. Kindly read the question again. Hamad Asghar has given an opinion. Yes, Hamad, this could be a right question, right answer, but this is not going to happen according to the data that is provided. Prasad is asking, can you repeat the question? The question is that there is a material uncertainty related to going concern and management has not disclosed it. What would be our opinion? Yes, dear students. Okay, Prasad is saying unmodified. Now, Adil is saying adverse opinion. Hamad said adverse opinion. Kaisar said qualified opinion. Prasad said I could be 100% wrong. Yes, you are 100% correct that you are 100% wrong. This is not unmodified opinion. Yes, so Prasad, yes, Prasad, we need to this don't let it go. Try to understand that we need to first of all decide whether there is a material misstatement or not. This is our first question. If the answer to that question is yes, then we will choose between qualified, adverse, or disclaimer opinion. But if the answer to that question is no, then we will choose between emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph, and material uncertainty paragraph. So Samantha is asking modified opinion. So Samantha, please can explain which opinion among the modified. Umar is saying unmodified opinion, and this will be discussed in material uncertainty paragraph. Okay, Umar. So yes, that is important. That is why I have put this question to you so that you can give or you should open up what are you thinking about these modifications so that we may discuss the problems. Rubair is asking, a disclosure would be required regarding material uncertainty, and this situation being material and pervasive to the financial statement, the opinion formed would be an adverse. Okay. Manesh Kumar is asking, they're saying that there is unmodified with describe in matter paragraph. Okay, okay. So any other student who want to give his opinion regarding this, then I will tell the correct answer. Okay, so let me tell you, the important thing is that company has not given disclosure of material uncertainty. Now, this is the requirement of IAS 1, the disclosure of material uncertainty. Now, if the company has not given the material uncertainty disclosure, then it will be considered as a mistake. So, it is a misstatement for sure. Now, we have to choose between qualified, adverse, disclaimer. Now, there is no information regarding sufficient appropriate evidence. So we will focus on material or pervasive nature only. So as there is a material uncertainty regarding going concern, normally this is a disclosure, and disclosures are normally considered as material misstatements. So if it is a disclosure of going concern, then it will be discussed or it will be considered as a pervasive nature issue. Now, as it is a material uncertainty, normally it is considered as a material issue, not a pervasive one. So, the opinion for this type of issue will be the qualified. So, in some cases, we can say that adverse opinion can be formed if this material uncertainty can lead to going concern issue. Then there can be a possibility that auditor may issue adverse opinion, but normally he will issue a qualified opinion. So all the students who were saying that unmodified opinion will be issued. Unmodified opinion means financial statement gives true and fair view. How financial statement can give true and fair view? Yes, Kesar. How financial statements can give true and fair view if they have not disclosed the material uncertainty. So this is important. Yes, Kasser gave correct answer. Very good. So all those students who claim that it is or adverse opinion will be given, they are partially correct. They are not wrong, but they need to consider that material uncertainty is not always pervasive nature. Sometimes it has major effect on going concern, and sometimes it's a simple material uncertainty. So both opinions can be formed, like adverse and qualified. So both are correct answers. So normally we go for qualified opinion. So I'm hopeful that you would be clear on that issue. Now let's have another example. Company has given disclosure of material uncertainty, whereas there is a material certainty. Now, dear students, Yes, Rubaid, yes, you can discuss. Normally, you would form qualified opinion, but you can also tell examiner that if the issue is pervasive, you can also give adverse opinion in that case. Now, the company has given disclosure of material uncertainty, whereas there is a material uncertainty. So, material uncertainty is there; it is present, and management has disclose it properly. Now, how would be our opinion? Kindly give your answer in the chat box, question box. Okay, Hamad, your answer is incomplete. Please explain your answer. Okay, Adil Muhammad is very near, very close to right answer, but Adil, it is not correct answer. Hamad, kindly explain your answer. Ryan, you were close, but it is not the correct answer. Rubaid, kindly explain. Mir Hamza, unmodified. Rubaid, unmodified. Okay. Adil Muhammad, unmodified with emphasis of matter paragraph. Manesh Kumar, unmodified opinion. Hamad, emphasis matter paragraph. Emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. Samantha is saying unmodified report and qualified opinion if it is not pervasive. Okay, Samantha. Batul is saying unmodified report with unmodified opinion with emphasis matter paragraph. Okay, Batul, this is not correct answer. Hamad Aswar is saying unmodified with modified opinion. Unmodified with modified opinion. Hamad, what you want to say? Now, there are three types: unmodified opinion with modified report means the three paragraphs, or modified opinion means qualified, adverse, or disclaimer. Prasad is saying, unmodified opinion. Okay, so Prasad is saying unmodified opinion. I guess now I am correct. Okay. Unmodified opinion. Shazeb is saying unmodified with going concern para. Okay. Manesh Kumar with emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. Umar Sharif, unmodified opinion. This will be discussed in material study paragraph. Yes, Umar, your answer is correct. And Shahab's answer is also to some extent correct. But it is not going concern paragraph, it is material uncertainty regarding going concern paragraph. That is its full name. Now, all the students who are claiming that this issue will be dealt in the emphasis of matter paragraph, this is not an issue of emphasis of matter paragraph. So if we go back and we can see that this is emphasis of matter paragraph. Now the point related to going concern is financial statement prepared on breakup basis. Now this is not the point here. Uncertainty regarding case. Now this is written an uncertainty related to a case, a litigation over a company. Now this is not a case that is going to hurt the going concern issue. This is the point, material uncertainty related to going concern. So if there is a point that can have a major impact on the going concern of the organization, then a separate paragraph is included or disclosed after basis of opinion, where material uncertainty is disclosed, and it is only used when material uncertainty paragraph is disclosed properly by the management in financial statements as well. So the correct answer is that unmodified opinion with material uncertainty paragraph. Yes, Umar, your answer is correct. And Hamad, do not use emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. And Shazeb's answer is to some extent okay. So this is not an unmodified opinion. It is unmodified opinion with material uncertainty paragraph. All those students who told this option are correct and all other options are incorrect. Yes, exactly, Umar. That is why, as the management has fulfilled their responsibility, they have disclosed material uncertainty. Now there is no material misstatement. So this is important, Samantha. You should understand this thing that we cannot discuss or take this issue as a pervasive one, and we are not going to qualify your opinion. Your opinion is very scattered. You have written unmodified report and qualified opinion if it is not pervasive. No, it is not a material misstatement, or it is neither material nor a simple misstatement because they have disclosed it according to IS1. Or there is no misstatement. Now you will see whether there is an issue according to that will be dealt according to material uncertainty paragraph or emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph. So this is how you are going to go through this type of questions. So I'm hopeful that you would be clear on that. If it were a 3 marks question, how much would be associated with the identification of the paragraph? Yes, 1 marks to this will be associated to the opinion, Rubai. Okay, okay, Kasser, we'll try that. Okay, so let's have another question in the box. So the answer for that is unmodified opinion with material uncertainty paragraph. Now, let's have another example. Understand? Now, let's say if there is a provision of 5 million not recorded by the company and auditor thinks it is probable profit for the year is 2 million. Now this is the information. So kindly give your answer in the question chat box. Yes, Rayan, your answer is correct. Yes, Hamad, your answer is correct. Yes, Manish, you are correct. Good. So what would be the opinion? Okay. Kessler, your option is not correct. Candy, calculate first. Manesh, you are correct. Very good. Prasad, you are okay. Yes, Shazib, you are correct. Excellent, Umar. Well discussed. Yes, very good. So, dear students, you have understood this thing? Yes, yes, yes. The right answer is adverse opinion. Yes, Batul, you are right. Modified report with adverse opinion. So, Batul, we don't need to write modified report. We will say just simply adverse opinion. So, if the opinion is modified, report is automatically modified. So, very good, dear students. So now you are on the point and you have managed this question very well. Now let's have another question. What will happen if financial statements are not prepared on going concern and in actual there is no going concern. So, dear students, what would be the opinion? Financial statements are not prepared on going concerns, and in actual, there is no going concern. Okay, so no one has given the right option till now. Can we read it again? What I have written? No, Hamad. This is not the right answer. No one has given the correct answer. You are very close, Manesh, Samantha. You are very close, but still, this is not the right answer. Oh, Ahmad, you are also very close, but this is not the right answer. Hijab, partially your answer is correct, but it's not completely correct. So currently, dear students, okay, Saida is asking that qualified report. No, Saida, kindly read it again. Okay, Umar Sharif, yes, this is the right answer. Very good, very good. So, and yes, Hamad also, you also has given correct answer. Now, dear students, financial statements are not prepared on going concern. What does this mean? That financial statements are prepared on breakup basis, and in actual there is no going concern. So there is no material misstatement. There would be a material misstatement if financial statements would have prepared on going concern and in actual there was no going concern. Then we would claim that this is a material misstatement. But the fact that in actual there is no going concern and financial statements are not prepared on going concern, so this means that financial statements give true and fair view. Why? Because they are claiming correct that we are not ongoing concern. But with emphasis of matter paragraph, POM, emphasis of matter paragraph is issued. Why? Because you can see in emphasis of matter paragraph, the first option, financial statements prepared on breakup basis. Now, if financial statements are correctly prepared on breakup basis, then there is no material misstatement, but this is very important information with context to the investor. He must be aware of this fact. And auditor should report this information in their audit report so that they would not become professionally negligent subsequently or after the issuance of audit report. So to protect their self, to protect themselves from professional negligence, auditor is going to issue an unmodified opinion, but an emphasis of matter paragraph containing the issue that financial statements are prepared on breakup basis will be issued. Is it clear to all of you? Yes, wording was tricky, Rayan. You are correct. Now, last question from my side regarding this issue, and it will be a little tough. So let's see who can give the correct answer. Now, auditor asked, auditor was given going concern report for only 8 months. Financial statements are prepared on going concern. So, who can give correct answer for this option? Let's see. Okay, so dear students, now let's read your answers. Okay, with going concern paragraph, adverse opinions since 12 months are required. Okay, disclaimer of opinion except for disclaimer for opinion, unmodified with going concern para. Oh, with going concern paragraph, we should demand management for full year report. If they don't, we should give adverse opinion. Samantha is saying adverse opinion, going concern more than 12, uncertainty paragraph, modified. So, dear students, all those students who are saying that going concern paragraph will be issued, they are wrong, because going concern paragraph means material uncertainty related to going concern paragraph is issued when there is no material misstatement. Now, in this case, financial statements are prepared on going concern basis, and auditor is not confirmed whether they are on going concern or not, because the report that is prepared for 8 months, auditor would ask them to give complete 12 months report. So if they have not prepared complete 12 months report, then this is an issue related to going concern which is pervasive in nature. And how management can claim that they are on going concern if they have not prepared going concern report? So this means that there is a material misstatement, and this material misstatement is not only material but it's pervasive. And we have not provided with sufficient and appropriate evidence, because evidence is there for 8 months, whereas we need 12 months evidence regarding going concern according to IS1. So disclaimer opinion would be issued. Yes, disclaimer opinion will be issued because we are short of sufficient and appropriate evidence. So that is why disclaimer opinion will be issued. So management has not given us the required data. They have not prepared sufficient and appropriate evidence regarding going concern. So disclaimer of opinion will be issued. Adverse opinion will be issued if they have provided going concern all the sufficient appropriate evidence, complete 12 months evidence, and we are sure that they are not on going concern, and management has prepared financial statement on going concern. In that case, we will issue this type of statement. So, is this clear to all of you? Yes, Prasad, you are partly correct. Yes. Okay. So, but don't worry if you don't understand that. This one was a tricky one. It was a tough one. So those students who have tried for it and who have said adverse, they were very close. Just they were not aware of the sufficient appropriate evidence thing. So now onward, you can easily understand if the evidence is for 8 months, then it is not complete and it is not sufficient appropriate evidence. So another point, provision of 5 million is not recorded. Correspondence has not been provided. profit for the year is 10 million. Now, what would be the opinion now? Okay. So now you can see that this is a provision of 5 million and profit is 10 million. So 5 divided by 10 multiplied by 100. So this means answer is 100%. Sorry, 50%. So 50% is material. So this is a material misstatement. So this is proved. This is not a pervasive one. So you cannot say that disclaimer of opinion will be issued because it's a material misstatement. It would be a material misstatement or sorry pervasive misstatement if profit for the year was 5 million or 4 million, that then we would say that it is a pervasive misstatement. Now it is 50% of the profits, so it is simply a misstatement. Correspondence has not been provided. This means yes, sufficient and appropriate evidence has not been obtained. Yes, sufficient and appropriate evidence has not been obtained. No. The opinion would be qualified. All those students qualified opinion with basis of qualified opinion. So you would issue qualified opinion, but in the basis of qualified opinion, you will state that I was not able to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. So yes, Samantha, the percentage is that what is a Samantha is asking that kindly confirm the percentage for pervasive misstatement. Pervasive misstatement is the misstatement that is related to going concern or subsidiary of any single transaction, like inventory, impairment, provision, asset, revenue. Any single transaction could also be a pervasive misstatement if profit converted to loss or more than 50% change in assets. Now in this example, it is 50%. It is not a going concern issue. It is not a subsidiary. It is a provision issue. Provision is a single transaction. So it is 50% of profit. It is not converting profit into loss. So it is not pervasive. It is a material mistake. Simple as that. Umar, I think it would be clear. So sufficient appropriate evidence, if we go back to the slide. Now you can see this is a material misstatement, and in the quadrant where it is written that inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Now this is the point, we were not provided correspondence. If management do not provide us correspondence, if they don't provide us purchase invoices, if they don't give us loan agreement, if they don't give us correspondence, if they don't give us lease agreement, if they don't allow us to go for the inventory stock take, all of these will be counted as an inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. So if management has imposed restriction on some scope or data, then we are unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. If they say that there was a cyber attack and all of the data has vanished, it has been it has been now useless now, and due to a cyber attack everything got away. So once again there is an inability to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. So last time the evidences that you wrote, if any of the evidence is missing from there, then there is an inability, and we will use except for provision, financial statements give true and fair view, but in the basis for qualified opinion, we are going to give explanation that we are not or we were not able to obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence. So is it clear to all of you now? Umar, this is a material misstatement. Okay, Samantha, so you are clear on it. Good, very good. Well, we have made a WhatsApp group now. I have asked ACCA to make a WhatsApp group. So all of you would be included in it very soon. Don't worry about that. Rubaid is asking a question. Can you say that the three things described as pervasive are the maximum? That is, yes, these three things, yes, only these three things are actually the, yes, these three are the summary of all these things. In table, you can see these three elements: going concern issue, subsidiary, and any single transaction. Yes. So these three are the examples of pervasive, and all other misstatements will be considered as qualified. Okay. So I'm hopeful that you would be clear on these things. So if you have any question related to these these points that we have yet discussed, recently discussed related to audit report or audit opinion, then we are going to have discussion on it. Uh, well, let's take a 15 minutes break and we will come back and we will have your questions. We will discuss your questions if you have any, and then we will switch to OTs. So let's have a 15 minutes break. So see you after 15 minutes. So, hello everyone, we are back after a short break. So, before going to break, we were discussing the impact of audit report under certain examples that how audit report can have impact on the financial statements and audit report. So, we were discussing these examples and many of the students gave correct answer. Some of students had issue, so you need to consult the book. And also, if you have anything that is not clear yet clear, so ask me the question in question box. So if any of these examples are not clear to you, you can ask the question, related question. Well, Umar, I was explaining that if there is an issue of going concern or subsidiary being missed, or there is a single transaction like provision inventory or R&D, and this transaction is converting profit into loss or having impact of more than 50% over the assets, then these three types of misstatements will be considered as reversible. Otherwise, otherwise, all the misstatements above 5% of the profit threshold are considered as material misstatement. So that is what we were talking. Okay. So any other question related to audit report, or should we proceed to next topic? Okay. Yes. Sufficient and appropriate evidence. Yes, Kessler, the link has been shared with all of you regarding WhatsApp group, so you can join it by clicking on it. Or okay, Bilal. So as there are no questions, so now we move forward towards the next area, and that is ODQs. So now these are some of the questions, the OTQs, and OTQs are also very, very important because they carry 30 marks. So the calculation regarding this issue is that now there are OTs for 30 marks, then there is an audit risk question, then there is a control deficiency question, then there is a procedure question. So what happens that students often get average marks when they are considering these three long questions. So let's say they get 12 marks from audit risk and 15 marks from control risk question and 13 marks from procedure risk question. So collectively from these long questions, they got 40 questions. So total marks that they have obtained are 40 marks from long questions. Now this is a generic approach of different students. Now they think that OTs are easy, we can try any of them, and of course Tula system will help us. So of course 5 to 7 will get okay, will be correct if we are going to tick box on different options. At least 50% we can correct 50% options. Now this is their presumption, and this presumption is often not valid in this paper because examiner will set different OTs and these OTs are very conceptual. So normally are not even to score sometimes 6 or 8 marks. So if they score 6 marks or 8 marks, so they will be failed on 46 or 48. So normally as students are trying hard and they are trying to attempt long questions and they try to write average answers for audit risk, average answer for control risk and average answer for procedures. So they fail due to OTs because they don't have good grip on it, OTs. So what is the reason and why students fail in OTs and why students are not able to get good marks? So the first reason is that from last 3 years, you know that ACCA will not disclose the OTs that are used in the exam for any session. So we have the data related to audit risk question, control risk question, and procedures, but we are not aware of the current trends of examiners related to OTs. So first of all, we don't have that kind of data bank for the OTs. So the only resources or data banks available for us are some of the resources that are in Kaplan form or BP form. So first of all, this is the point. And the second thing is that students try to ignore the book. So the OTs are basically now why the reasons, what are the reasons for not scoring good marks? Reasons for low marks in OTs. First of all, data bank of OTs. We are short of data bank related to OTs. The level of ACCA cannot be attained by any other organization. So we need to have the OTs that are used by the ACCA. So as we can see that in past papers we don't have these OTs. So this is the first reason. The second reason is not reading the book with concentration. So what students want is a shortcut through which they just study 10 to 15 days and they can pass the paper. Now this type of shortcut is always risky, always risky. So if you are going to read short notes for audit that are of 30 pages or 40 pages, so certainly they will miss some of the detail and OTs can be constructed from that area which you have skipped while studying. So that is why reading properly, reading the book is very, very important. And the third thing is the tricks of OTs. So there are some tricks of the OTs that students often miss and they think that the OTs are constructed in a simple manner and we can easily find out the correct answer. So these tricks are spread over different resources and if you go through different questions like planning stage, different questions or review stage, completion stage or report stage, especially procedure stage. So these OTs can become very difficult at certain times. So we need to understand what are the tricks. First of all, you guys need to understand that reading the book is very important. So I would suggest that you must read the book twice. You should set the target for these coming 10 days you or 12 days. You can read a chapter per day. So by coming 12 days, you can complete your book and then next 12 days, you can also complete the book in second time. So this is important. You should thoroughly read the book. You should be aware of these facts. Why? Because in the OTs, examiner has a lot of choice. He can ask any question from any line. So if you are weak from concept, you can be a victim. You can get failed by only due to the reason being not having proper knowledge of OTs due to shortage of book reading. So this is important. These are the steps that should be followed. Now let's try to understand the tricks that are used by the examiner for these different questions that we have set here. So let's read this question. This first question, this is a very easy question, but you would see that there are some tricks. Okay, so can you give me the answer? Which is the right answer? Option A, option B, option C, or option D? Dear students, so which option is correct? A, B, C, D. Okay, so all of the students have answered correctly. Now, very good. This was a very straightforward question, but I want to focus on some important matter. Sometimes it's a sort of tukka. It's a sort of guess. So sometimes you get the correct answer and sometimes you don't. Now, my opinion or my recommendation regarding this is that are you aware of the fact that why B is wrong? Are you aware of the fact that why C or D are wrong? So if you are confirmed that why B, C and D are wrong and then you intentionally clicked on A, then you are strong in the concept. But if you read the question and you just thought that A seems to be correct, but you are not sure, but you think that A will be correct, but you are not sure. So this means that you are trying your guess. So this guess will not work under exam condition. May work, but there is a probability that they may not work. So I would suggest that you must also focus on why this option B is incorrect. Don't you think that external auditor also work on internal control system of the organization? Is it wrong that external auditor will carry out some procedures and he's going to check the effectiveness of company's internal control system? You have read in the chapter that auditor is also going to apply test of controls to evaluate sales system and purchase system and payroll systems as well. So isn't B correct? Isn't C not correct? According to ISA 265, according to ISA 265, auditor is going to communicate the deficiencies and make recommendations. Now you know that this is correct. Now why option C was not correct? Now this is my question from you guys, that why B or C is incorrect? Just only because A has the words like opinion on the financial statements or fairly presented. So these are the eye-catching words and these are sometimes the trap. So you should be very clear on why a specific option is correct. Okay. So can you guys give me the reason why option C is incorrect? Okay. Okay. So there are some options. Yes. Now, the most important thing is that, in my opinion, C is also the task that is performed by the external auditor. And external auditor also focus on internal control system as well. But why B, C, and D are wrong? This is very important because in the requirement it was written best defined. The word is best defined. Now, yes, Isha, you are right. Yes, Rubaid, you are correct. Very good. But what would be the argument? What would be the logic? Now, the most important logic is that he asked how to best define the external alert. So, if we are going to best define, A is the most appropriate option. Although B is correct, C is correct, D is not correct because it involves negative sureness. Why D is incorrect? Because external auditor don't provide negative sureness. We are clear on it. So, very important reason why a student fail due to OTs. Now, what are the tricks of OTs? Trick number one, requirement. What happens? Students read the answer and in his opinion an option is okay and he clicks. So Whenever you have selected an option, don't tick on it. Just wait, go for requirement, once again read the requirement and then confirm the option you are going to take is correct under the circumstances or not. So you are aware that sometimes examiner use words like most likely, least likely, which of the following is not the best definition of external audit. So he may have asked the word not. So when students see the right answer, in his opinion, he is going to just click on it very speedily, very fastly, and he is not going to read the requirement again. So if you read the answer, if you read the requirement again before clicking the right answer, then you may reconcile whether you are going to take on the right answer or not. So this is very important. First of all, you need to have, although all of yours answers were right, were correct, but the process is very important. Now, this is not important to have a correct answer in your pocket. The most important thing is whether the process that you are following is okay or not. So this is why we are discussing these important matters. Now let's move to another question to understand some more tricks like this one. Now this is question number 2 and this is very important ISA from ISA 250. Now this is a question from ISA 250. If you want to read the data, now this is the data. Now this paragraph is relevant to this question number 2. If you can read that, kindly read this paragraph and then we will go back to these options to understand another trick of the examiner. So kindly please read this paragraph and then we will go back to that question. Okay, so I'm hopeful you would have read this paragraph. So let's move to this requirement, requirement 2. Now dear students, what do you think which option is correct? Now in coming to this process that how to find the correct answer, I would suggest that you can start by finding the wrong answer. Sometimes OTs is not that clear. So if you are not clear on the right answer, then the preferable approach to be on the right answer is to find the wrong answer because students can find the wrong answer earlier than the correct answer. Now this is the logic behind it. So if we go back, you can see that these are the 4 options. If you read the requirement now and the question. So can you tell me the 2 options that are confirmed wrong? We have discussed that we are going to identify wrong options first. So I'm asking you to find out those 2 options that are 100% wrong. You are confirmed that 2 are wrongs. So whether this is option A, option B, option C or option D. So which of the 4 are confirmed wrong? Very good, very good. So see, many of the students are giving right answer. Yes, very good, Prasad and Rubail. So it is natural. It is a natural for student that student can easily find wrong answers. So yes, you are correct. Now, students are saying that A and D are confirmed wrong because in A, auditor should actively prevent and detect non-compliance. This is wrong. This is the responsibility of management. And in D, the auditor does not have any responsibility. This is once again wrong. So A gives 100% responsibility to auditor and D said there is no responsibility. So these two are completely wrong options. So A and D are out of the line. Now there are two options left, B and C. Now one of these options is correct. Now, once again, I would recommend you to find the wrong answer among B and C. Now, this is very important. Do not find the correct answer. Find the wrong answer from B and C. Which one is confirmed that is wrong? Either B is wrong, either C is wrong. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, Rubaid, you are correct. Ryan, okay, good. Batul, very good. Manesh. So my question is, which one of the option among B and C is confirmed wrong? Okay. So I was asking the wrong option. Now this is a tough call. Now let's see another trap of the examiner. Now when you read C, you can see should obtain sufficient and appropriate evidence about BGM's compliance with the regulations. Now this line is so much accurate and it is so much eye-catching that student ignore all other information. Now this is a trap. I would write that beware beware of eye-catching words. These are eye-catching words. These are dangerous words, and these words are the reasons why you select a specific option. So the important thing is that beware of eye-catching words, read full option. So you guys must read full option. Now let's go to this. Sufficient and appropriate evidence about BGM's compliance with the regulation. Now I am going to tell you that option C is incorrect. All the students who said that C is wrong, they are correct. Now, my next question. Why C is incorrect? What is the reason? What is the logic? Whenever you are doing a question, ask yourself why this option is wrong. The logic is very important. The rationale behind this thing is very important. So I want you to think over it and tell me, in your opinion, why C was wrong. What is the reason? There are many students who said B is wrong. So they were caught by the trap of C. Yes, there are some students who have not read the book comprehensively. Yes, so these type of students can easily be caught by the examiner in the options like these. Now my question is why C is wrong? No, Prasad. Compliance does not have direct effect of assessments. Okay, so yes. Very good. Now the student Ryan has given the right logic for that. Now the right logic why C is wrong is that they have a direct effect on the financial statements. Now this is a wrong thing because they don't have direct effect. Why? In data, this was mentioned that the review is not expected to include the provision of accounting advice or the preparation of figures in the financial statements or hygiene regulations. Yes, this is the line. Now, these are the hygiene regulations. So, these regulations are not direct with respect to preparation of financial statements. They are direct to the operations of an hotel industry, yes, but they are not, they don't have direct impact with respect to the preparation of financial statement. Means that hygiene regulations don't give detail regarding how to prepare financial statements of the hotel industry or restaurant industry. So they are indirect, or we can consider them as other laws and regulations with respect to ISA 250. So as this line is wrong, that is why C is wrong. Now what happens? What student do? Student just start reading that auditor should obtain sufficient and proper evidence. Now he will think, okay, these words are very familiar. Sufficient and appropriate evidence. Oh, my mentor has discussed these words every time and many times during the classes. So this is correct. So what happens? Students get impressed with these eye-catching words, sufficient and appropriate evidence about Belgium's compliance with regulation. Okay, this is correct. Now he is going to click on this option that C is correct. But stop. Look, always read all option. Now, in the end, you can see it is written that they have direct impact. So please beware of it, consider it, and you can see that they don't have direct impact. So A and D were clearly wrong, and when you went into detail and you went to bit of everything, you saw that C is also wrong. So automatically B is correct. So automatically B is the correct answer. So this is the process to go to reach on the right answer is start by finding the wrong answers. Always find two options that are 100% in your opinion wrong, then think on other two options and find the wrong one, and be very much critical. Always read full option. Do not make decision before reading full option, especially the last part. Always focus on the last part of the option. They are very tricky. There are some words, due to only one word, the whole option can get incorrect. So this is why we are focusing on these questions. So I am hopeful that you would have understand the strategy and you would be aware now. So if you have not read ISA 250, there is a chance that you cannot attempt this question as well. So reading the book is very important. Reading the book is very important. You can see these OTs are much more tricky than auditors questions. So please try to read the book. Now, if we go back to different questions, now these are very easy questions. Now this one, let's try to apply what we have read on this question. So my question is same. Kindly read the question. Now the question here is, the audit engagement partner has told you that the independence threats arising from this. So which of the following is likely, which of the following is likely to give rise, so kindly read the question and find the two options that are wrong. My question is, which two of these options are confirmed inaccurate according to your opinion? A, B, C, or D? Okay, so I'm not asking to give the right answer. I'm asking you to write the incorrect answer. The most incorrect options, the two most incorrect options in your opinion. Okay, C and D, some say A and D. Okay, A and D. Good, good, Rubel. Now you can see this threshold of 15% written and D. Most of students are confirmed that D is incorrect. Yes, Prasad, good. A and D. Very good, very good. So this 15% threshold is not related to review engagement. This 15% threshold is related to over dependence of a client. Means when we are getting fees of of a client from a client that is 15% of total revenue, then we are over dependent on that client. Now, this threshold is not related to the review engagement issue. So if someone is clicking this option, this means he has no clue about the self-interest threat and intimidation threat, and he has not read the book. And option A, where they're saying that why HTCO is prohibited from providing other insurance services, this is completely wrong. There are some safeguards that could be in place, and and after these safeguards, we can apply different review engagements. So A and D are incorrect. Many students have given right answer. Very good. So you guys are successful in identifying wrong options. Now there are two options left, B and C. The question is that one of these options is incorrect. No. Now, which option is incorrect between B and C? You are going to find the incorrect answer. Okay. So many of the students have said that C, option C is incorrect. Now, so dear students, this is very important to understand. You can see the review engagement is likely. Now we are talking on option B because many students accept one, Bilal. All the rest of students have said that option C is incorrect. Now I will tell you that option C is correct and option B is incorrect. Now why option B is incorrect? The review engagement is likely to give rise to self-review threat. Now it is written that this type of review engagements will give rise to self-review threat. Now why this is incorrect? This is incorrect because in data it was mentioned that this review is not expected to include the provision of accounting or the preparation of figures in the financial statement. So if we are going to provide a review engagement, then it will not have any impact on the preparation of figures in the financial statement. So if we go ahead and start performing this review engagement, it our working will not be showed or included in financial statement. So if we have not worked in on the any head of the financial statement and then we are working as an external auditor, then there is no self-review threat. So self-review threat arises when we have performed something and after some time we are there to actually review that thing that was originally performed by us. So whatever we are going to done in this assignment of hygiene review, it don't have any impact on the preparation of the figures of the financial statement. So there is no self-review threat. So why most of the students couldn't click on the right option? Why? Because there was a eye-catching word, self-review threat. We like to learn or listen these words. But the most important point is that why you missed the right answer. Now, what is the lesson learned? That don't miss the data in OTs. So what happens? Students don't relate the data of requirement with this information. So students read this information, but when they are on this question, they will ignore this data. So sometimes there is a question which has direct link with that data. So don't ignore this data. But there are some opposite questions, like this question don't have any relationship. Once again, this question have some relationship, but not to that extent. Now, these question number 3 and question number 4 don't have any direct relationship with the data. But question number 5 has direct relationship. So if you want to get full answers and you want to click on the right option, the most important thing is that beware of that some options in some options we need to read the data again to identify the correct answer. So do not miss the data. Do not go for just read the requirement, read the options and click on it. You must also be aware of the relevant data that might have been written in the starting data in an OT. So please be aware of it. So these are some of the important points that we are discussing. Reasons of low marks, data banks of OTs that are not available. We are not, or students are not reading the book with concentration, and there are some tricks of that. Among the tricks, first of all thing is that we may miss the requirement, which may include some tricky words. Then you should start with finding the wrong answer time by time, option by option, get any option that is wrong out of the line and out of the scenario, and then what you can do, you can just get the correct answer. Also, beware of the eye-catching words. And remember, these eye-catching words are written normally at the start or the starting words of the option. So the lesson learned is that always read full option before clicking the rest. And also, another important trap is that do not miss the data in notice. Sometimes there are some generic questions and sometimes there are some specific questions that have impact on the option. So always try to relate it with the data. So you must practice every question. These are very important questions, and I am hopeful that if you practice these questions, you can get the right answer. Now, there are some questions like these questions. These are sometimes tricky questions, and he's asking that which options will give you which of the following options best defines. Now, these are very tricky questions. Best defines the valid threats to independence and allocates the threat to the most appropriate category. So these are three options: advocacy threat, for intimidation threat, and self-interest threat. So if you are going to calculate every bit of the information that is provided here, that what risk arises in option 3, what risk arises in option 4, what risk arises in option 1, what risk arises on option 1, 4, 2, and 2. So this will be very difficult for you and this will be very tempting. So what you should do, or what intelligent students normally do, so they will pick only one option on which they are 100% confirmed, like tax fee based on the percentage of tax share. So you are aware that 100% there is a self-interest threat in option 3. So if you are 100% confirmed that on tax fee to be based on a percentage of tax saved, if you are 100% confirmed that there is self-interest threat, now come to self-interest option and see where option 3 is written. There is no option 3 written here. This is option 3 were written. So in the rest of options, there is no option 3 written. So by only looking at option 3, which is on which you are clear, you can see that option 3 is carrying self-interest threat and it is written in option B only. So you can click on option B without reading these advocacy threat or intimidation threats. So this is another trick that can be used under exam condition. So this is very important to go through OTs, and to go through OTs, I would recommend that read the book twice. Whenever you read, whenever you attempt different questions, like if you attempt this question star, and this is from code of ethics area, so first of all you will read the book, then you will attempt these questions. After attempting these questions, you will get to know your weak area, like you are weak in gift area, you are weak in like long association area. So when you read that area, you are not concentrating on it, so you are weak in that area. Now after attempting these questions, once again you will need to read this chapter again, so that the areas or the weaknesses that were identified during this practice, you must read that book and you should close the loopholes that are there in your concept. So that is how you are going to read the book twice. First you will read the book, then you are going to attempt these questions or capture of these questions, and then you will go back to book and read again the areas where you are weak. So that is why reading the book twice is very, very important. And remember this thing, there is no shortcut and there is no alternative to reading the book. This is very, very clear. There is no alternative. 300 pages cannot equal to 30 pages. So if someone has read the book twice and he has memorized 300 pages of the book and he has full knowledge, surely he will get more marks and he can get 70, 72, or 75 marks. So all your marks depends on OTs, because there will be some generic audit risk, there will be some control risk, there will be procedures that you have memorized. So you can write average audit risk and average test of controls and control deficiency and average procedures. But the difference making area is OTs, where if you get only 2 or 3 OTs correct, then you can fail with the margin. And if you can get 10 OTs right, then you can easily pass the paper. So the area that is very critical, very crucial, and students always give less focus, less concern, or are less focused in that area is only the book reading area or OTs. So this is very important to give continuous 5 to 8 days to OTs. Read book every day, and after reading the chapters that you have read it, go back to kit and attempt the questions of that chapters. And when you go through, you will find out the weak area, then go back to these chapters and cover the loopholes. Then what you will do on next day, read next 3 chapters or 2 chapters, then attempt the questions from kit, and then go back to your chapters and read them again with concentration and with carefulness, because now you know that the areas from that chapter that are important and examiner focus on them. So by going on to the OTs, you will know that what is the area in the chapter that is important in the eyes of the examiner. So this is the strategy that should be followed. Now, so I think you would be clear on OTs issue. Now the last thing. Yes, Prasad, you are correct. Contingent fees can be an intimidation threat. Yes, you are right. Okay, so in the handouts, there is a file called 64 most wanted questions. So these are very important questions that are frequently asked. Previously, that have been frequently asked. You can see June from June 2010 to last session. You can see these questions. Discuss the importance of assessing risk at planning stage. This is important. Explain examples of matters the auditor should consider in determining whether deficiency in controls is significant. So all these questions are from bookish knowledge. This is a bookish knowledge. So as I have discussed that students are not fond of reading the book, they just need some sort of shortcut. They want this, just they want that they go to a shop and they purchase some pills and they eat it, and what happens, the all the knowledge based data is installed in your brain, so it will not happen. There is no alternative. The only option that is left to you to pass the paper is just start from chapter 1 and read twice, and also between reading also attempt OTs. Now these are the areas, these are some ready-made questions. Explain the difference between interim and final audit. So this question has been frequently asked many times by the examiner. So please memorize this file, memorize procedures, read the book, attempt all the questions. You have 23 days left. You can do all these assignments. You have a lot of work to do. So prepare a time management process, prepare a time management schedule for yourself. It should include 5 hours reading schedule or 8 hours reading schedule or 12 hours reading schedule. According to your commitments and according to your time availability, you can prepare your own time schedule, but you must give maximum time to your to this paper. You must memorize these important questions. You must read the book twice and you must memorize audit procedures. By doing this, you can easily pass the paper. So my final recommendation for you guys is so final recommendation for you. Now read the book carefully. My recommendation is twice. Why? Because when you read the book carefully, for example, for these coming 10 days or 12 days, you can go through like a chapter per day, one chapter per day. And after these 12 days, you can read two chapters per day. So this is manageable and you can easily read the book twice. So what advantage they will give? You will get good marks in OTs and you will be strong in knowledge based area. Now, the second recommendation is memorize these 64 most wanted questions. And the third thing is memorize generic procedures. So, so hopefully you would have gone through from some audit risk questions and control risk questions. Yes, I know because students mostly focus on audit risk questions. So yes, you can do some audit risk questions. Yes, you can do control risk questions. But what are your weaknesses? Also do these questions. But your weaknesses are that you have not read the book carefully. You have not memorized the procedures and the most wanted questions. So just follow these three things along with your generic preparation and you can pass easily with the guidance of God. So this is my final recommendation for all of you. So as we are in the last few minutes of this session and we have left with only some few minutes, so it's time to have some question answer session. So if you have any question, kindly ask me these questions so that we can discuss these things. Okay, so there is a questions, there are different questions asked by different students. Okay, so I will share the answer of that OTQs in WhatsApp group, no problem. So they are taken from a kit, and that kit has their answers as well. So don't worry. Don't worry, Usman and Castle. I will share the answer book in the WhatsApp group. Yes, Prasad, your question is that is test of details and analytical procedures are part of substantive procedures? Yes, Prasad, you're correct. Test of details and analytical procedures are part of substantive procedures. Very good. Can we put two from each area? In exam, if he has asked you to write the procedures, focus on substantive procedures, but you can write some analytical procedures like in revenue or in receivable, you will write receivable days. If you are writing procedures you for payables, you will write payable days, also inventory days. So there are some heads which we will write analytical procedures, but not for every head. Okay, Kesar, I will share that file. Yes, Usman, I have answered this question. So there is a link sent to every student and there is a link that is shared by ACCA. So in the answers from Almas Abbas, you can see there are links added. You can click on that link and you can enter in that WhatsApp group. So Usman, I think it would be clear that how can you join the group. Mir Hamza is saying that WhatsApp link is expired. No, don't worry. Uh, all of you would be automatically added through the link. So don't worry. Uh, it will be working soon. Don't worry. So any other question? Oh, it's very difficult question, Ruben. I have my own students of SPL, P7, AA, and I'm very busy on that. So I will try to read some of the questions so that I may be helpful for you guys. So yes, I'll try my best, Ruben. Okay, link is not open, link is not working. Okay, I okay, I'll communicate with the ACC officials on that matter. Okay, sure, Ruben. So any question from your side? Yes, another important thing that I missed is that, okay, so dear students, I have discussed this matter with ACC officials. So they have asked me regarding that link of WhatsApp. So this link will not work on the mobile. So what you need to do is to save this link, and after session, just log in to this link through laptop. So you can open your laptop or PC, go to WhatsApp web, and from that WhatsApp web, you can click on that link and this link will be working. So this is what told to me by the ACC officials. So hopefully you can do that after session. You can join this link by clicking on it, but through your laptop or PC. So it will work on PC. Yes, Prasad. So there is a student, Prasad. He is claiming that that link was not working on mobile, but it is working on laptop. So the student is also confirming that thing. So yes. So uh, you can save this message. Of course, message will not be automatically deleted, Kaiser. So if the message there, you can go through WhatsApp web and click on it through your laptop and the link will work. Yes, it is not working on mobile, but this link will work when you will click through using the laptop or your PC. Okay, so another important thing that I just missed is the importance of mock. So I would like to add this thing. Go through 3 mocks before exam to well aware of time management issues. Now what happens if you have not attempted mock, then you are not or you will not be aware of time management issues, that how much time will be allocated to OTs and how much time should be spared for long questions. Now, this is very important. So please go through at least 3 mocks. You have mocks. There are some mocks presented by ACCA. There are some mocks that are available in different resources of Kaplan and BBP. So and there are some past papers as well. So I would prefer that you must attempt these 3 mocks on that are there on CBE practice platform. You must go through these mocks. So where are these mocks? Now I am on ACCA practice platform now. The sheet that you are seeing is at CB practice platform. Now let me show you. Now these are the final 4 recommendations. Read the book carefully, twice, memorize these 64 important questions, memorize generic procedures, and go to CB practice platform. So this is important. Now what you will do, you will go to Google, write CBE practice platform. There is the first option, CB question practice. You will click on it, and if you scroll down, you will see this option, login to the practice platform. This is very important, login to practice platform. So when you click on it, they will ask you for your username, enter your username and your password. And by clicking on it, yes, this is CBE practice platform. Now this is the paper audit and assurance. You click on it. There are 2 options, further options, ACCA official resource and blank workspace. You can use blank workspace for your own practice, for your own customized practice. So if you have a question from your kit and you want to practice on CB practice platform, so you can open that question along with that workspace. So partially on your screen, you will have your question opened in Microsoft Word and you will write answer in that blank workspace. But for the time being, the important issue that I have raised is not linked to there. You will click on ACCA official resources. You can see past exam library and practice exam and specimen exam. So you have so much options available. Past exam library. Click on it. You can see 3 papers. These are 3 mocks. So what beautiful options you have. You can avail all these options. Then you click on practice exam. You can see there are 2 practice exams there. Then click on specimen exam. You have 1 specimen, 2 practice exams and 3 past exam papers. Now these are 6 papers. You can consider them as 6 mocks. And if you click on any of them, you assign it, and after assign, when you will assign, what will happen, this paper will be shown there. Now this is double A past. If you click on it and there is a tab start, you just click on that tab start and this paper will start just like the paper. It will open just like when you start a paper in your real exam. So real same environment will be there, same options will be there. Like you can see these options, how to make tables, how to delete cells, how to enter cells, rows. So all these things, this is the calculator you can see. This is the calculator that can be used. How this calculator can be used to calculate the materiality level, you must be aware of before entering into exam. So do not do that thing that you are in exam and you are not aware of these options. So please be ready. You can see there are some highlighters. These colors can be used. Strike through means that if you have read the data and you have used that question data in your answer, you can strike through it and it will be showed as lined. So what happened, you know that this data has been used. So there is a scratch pad there. This scratch pad where you can write anything, any options that you have. So you have you have read some data and you know that you are used to write some of the most important points during the reading of your answer. So you can write some important points like you are reading audit risk question. So you find a risk of IAS 38. So you can highlight there that there is a risk of IAS 38 R and D. So this is the point. So you are listing your risk. Now this scratch pad is not evaluated by the examiner and your numbers don't. So this is a sort of list pad for you. Anything that you want to write as a rough paper, you can use scratch pad as a rough paper. So you can write your paper plan in it and then you can follow that plan. So scratch pad can be used, calculators, strike through, highlighter, there are certain symbols. So you must be aware of all these important, how to flag, how to navigate. This is important, how to navigate between the questions. So these are only two questions you can see. So if you go to section 1, there is an Excel sheet. So Excel sheet is also available. You can use it. There are certain options. You can change the font. You can input different symbols. So this is very important. Sometimes examiner may ask you to calculate ratios in audit risk area. So this Excel sheet can also be used. So please use these important things and practice it before your exam so that it will not give you heart attack during your exam, because under a severe pressure when you are not aware of the symbol, then 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 you are very disturbed and you cannot handle the stress under the exam. So it is better to what to do, just go through these 6 resources that are free for you all. These are free resources from ACCA. You can use any of them. These 6 past papers, 2 practice papers, and 1 specimen paper. So I should recommend you to apply these areas. So there is a navigator, how to use this. This is very important. Sometimes students don't know. So this is important. So these are my recommendations for all of you. Final recommendation: read the book carefully twice, memorize these important 64 most wanted questions, memorize generic procedures. They are very important. Go through at least 3 mocks. So 3 mocks means that 3 past papers. I would suggest go through these 3 past papers. At least these 3 past exam library papers. At least these 3 papers. But I would prefer and I would recommend that please attempt all these 6 papers. So if you do that and if you try to attempt mocks and try to manage yourself on timely basis, so what you will do, if there is a question of 10 marks, multiply it with 1.8, you get the answer 18. So you have got 18 minutes for 10 marks question. So you will not give single second extra second to that question. When 18 minutes are complete, just stop writing and go to the next question. So this is important and this is the technique that should be followed. But this technique cannot be followed automatically in the exam. There is a lot of stress under exam conditions, so you must apply this technique well before the exams during 3 to 4 mocks, and you should be aware of the area or the question where you are normally you get stuck and you waste the time. So what you should do, you should focus and you should try again and again, and you should be aware of your own deficiency as well. So what is your deficiency? So this is how to manage the paper. So if we go back to question answering session, So there is a question from Rubaid. Can we include some procedures and controls to the recommendations to audit risk? No, you don't need to basically include some procedures because he is going to ask audit response as well. So when you are making two columns, in one column you are writing audit risk and in other column you are writing audit response. So in audit response, of course, you will write audit response which includes a mixture of procedures and test of control. So Rubaid, you don't need to mix procedures and recommendations in audit risk. So Umar is asking if you have any mocks, please share them in WhatsApp group with the respective keys. Yes, there are kits available. There are certain mocks, so they will be shared by me and different students. So don't worry. And also, you don't need to have different mocks. The CB practice platform past papers are the most suitable and feasible of all of the things. So they are because they are the photocopy of your examiner and they are prepared by your examiner. So that is important. You must attempt anything, any material that is prepared by your examiner is preferable above any other material. Maha, the link has been told, the link has been linked, sent to all the students, but it will not work on mobile. So what you can do, you can use laptop and you can use WhatsApp web, and through WhatsApp web, you can click on that link using the laptop and you can enter in the WhatsApp group. No, Prasad, results are not there. Of course, if you are studying at a registered approved mentor, then you can do that. Yes, Amna, the rough paper is provided there, but you have the scratch pad there also, and you can be given the rough paper if you want, but I would prefer that as you are doing everything on CB platform and you are using the environment is computer based and the questions are in the form of CBE, so you can use the scratch pad that is a sort of soft rough paper. So section A, Ryan is asking how much time should be given to section A. Yes, very important point, Ryan. Very important point. So 30 marks are attached to section A. So this means that 30 30 into 1.8. Now you got the answer 54. So you have 54 minutes for section A. Now there is a question that whether you should start with section A or section B. Now there is a long discussion on it. Now I would say that you should use both methods while attempting the mock. So you can start any mock with section A and other mock with section B, and you see yourself which which option best suits your methodology and methodology. So choose that option, section whether you will go with section A or section B, but you have got 54 minutes for section A and rest of time for section B. So please make sure that you should manage the time during exams and focus on it and do a lot of efforts, and these times and these days are very important. So your 80 pounds and your 100 pounds and your 150 pounds are at stake, your thousands of money is on stake. So please work on it, effort on it, do not become negligent and focus to challenge yourself. Okay, Maha, you can try after some time. Yes, yes, Umar, I will pray for all of you. Also pray for me. Yes, Prasad, the YouTube link, on that YouTube link where recorded lectures are there, so you can get the handouts along with that videos. So I can share these handouts on the group as well, WhatsApp group as well. So don't worry. Okay, sure. So these are some few last few minutes. So please, you can ask any important question. Any last question? Yes, Prasad, yes. Attempting 6 marks is bang on. Yes, you are correct. So surely you would try. And I would once again say that there is no shortcut to success. The success is the thing that is always achieved after a lot of effort, a lot of pain, and a lot of stress. So, if you have not faced the stress, the challenge, and pain, that you have achieved nothing. So, this is what I believe. So, dear students, so as there are no questions remaining, and with the blessings of God, everything has settled and everything is okay. So, so let me conclude this session. So we went through from auditors to control deficiencies. We studied how to basically perform and memorize audit procedures and how to tackle OTs and audit report. So all these areas have been with the blessing of Allah. We have gone through, and we also discussed how to use CBE practice platform and how to and tackle the tips and tricks of the examiner at OT level. And I also gave you some final recommendations regarding these things. So that's that's all from my side for this session for practice to pass session March 2022. So thank you very much for attending this session. I am hopeful that this session would be of great help to all of you, and I wish all of you a very, very good luck for this coming exam of AA in March 2022. That's all from my side. Stay blessed. Good night and Allah Hafiz.